How is it going, everyone? So, I haven't made a video like this in a very long time, and I finally got the chance this morning to do it. It's going to be uploaded on TikTok and my YouTube channel. And if you didn't see it by the description, it is a clock collection video. I have not done a clock collection video, and oh my lord, it's been forever. I remember making a lot of those when I was a kid because I collected a lot of cool random clocks I found at secondhand stores and thrift stores and all of that. And I got out of it there for a few years, and then I just randomly started liking them again, especially the clocks with pendulums, wind up clocks, and clocks with Westminster chimes. So I've got myself back into clocks again, and all the clocks that I do own are in the living room and dining room. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll start off with my top favorite that you are looking at right now. This is a grandfather clock. This is a grandfather clock to look like a real wind-up grandfather clock with the weights. It's battery operated, which I'm fine with. It's very hard in my neck of the woods to find any grandfather clock that is actually worth having around. Those are just very hard to find around here. This is a very beautiful clock. Everything does open up like it should. So you have your fake weights there to make it look more like a vintage grandfather clock. Have your pendulum. Have a little storage drawer right down there. Pretty beautiful clock. It chimes once an hour on the hour. Westminster chime with the amount of dings the hour is. Pretty sweet clock. I love this one. Glad I got it. Alright, next up is this other little clock. It's right above the kitchen window. I bought it at the thrift store for $3. Just thought it was very neat and cute looking. So I bought it just to hang it above the kitchen window. Over here, I have a clock hanging on the wall that I grew up with in this very house. I remember when I was born, after my mom and dad bought this house, I grew up, and I remember seeing this clock hanging at this exact location. I just always loved this clock, so it stuck with me. Coming over here, we have a few of them, as well as you can see. Got a cool one down here I'll get to. Here we have another Westminster chime regulator Ingraham quartz clock. This one is pretty sweet. I had to do some modifications to the pendulum to get it to work. I'm not sure. I bought it from a thrift store, and it was kind of goofed up anyway, and it looks still a little bit goofed up. I need to work on it some more. But for now, it's fine. It's not like an actual old-fashioned clock anyway, so I'm not terribly worried about it. So, yeah. Over here on this table, we have this other vintage table clock. Was a wind up when it was gave to me. My let's see, it'd be my grandmother-in-law, basically. She gave it to me out of her old house when she was moving, and because it was sitting on her mantle and actually hasn't been ran in years. And I brought it home, and I was very happy to get it. It's like I've had this thing for like 2 years now, and started working on the actual mechanism of it, and come to find out that the clock spring itself was broken, so it would not wind whatsoever. And a couple of the gears was either bent out of place very badly somehow, and another one was actually busted. Now keep in mind the movement was metal. The whole movement was metal gears and all that. I don't understand how that happened. But I'm not too stressed over it because I just found a clock movement, a battery clock movement with Westminster chime and pendulum to make it look exactly like it did. So I'm not too worried about it. And I still love this clock very dearly and would probably never get rid of it because it is one of the most beautiful clocks in my collection. Alright, moving on. I have this wall clock right here I bought from my local grocery store that I work at because they was no longer going to sell these. And I got this for half price, so it was $10, so I got it for $5. It's a pretty neat clock. I just got it because it was pretty sweet looking. You don't see many of these around. On the shelf over here, we have this little bitty mantle clock. Excuse the messy shelf. I forgot to clean it. Got this at a thrift store as well. It has the neat little hands there. I cannot think of what they're called. Off the top of my head, my brain is completely dead right now. I'm very sorry. But I love these hands because it makes it look old-fashioned. Obviously, because my older clocks do have them. Pretty sweet clock. Very beautiful. I like it. Love it a lot. Alright. In here on the hallway, we have this Blue Ridge Mountain EMC, which is my local power company, quartz clock that I got from them when I don't even remember what they was going on. So it has humidity, temperature. It is not almost 90 degrees in here. I'm not sure. Wait, that's Celsius, never mind. No, that's actually Fahrenheit, excuse me. Yeah, it's not 90 degrees in here, I can promise you that. It's like maybe 70, 68, 70. It's very comfortable. It's just hanging in here in the hallway right above the thermostat. So, yeah, pretty sweet. All right. Right here we have, this was gave to me from my sister-in-law's father before he sold his lake house in Alabama. I really fell in love with this clock, and he gave it to me for a piece of history and memory out of that house because I stayed in that house a lot myself and loved it on the lake. I was a huge fan of that. I stayed there forever if I could. Very beautiful. Just a cool little clock. Over here we have this Westminster chime quartz clock. Got this at a thrift store, $15. Works. My most favorite wall clock of all. You can also see me there. Hello. I am so happy I found this. I was actually about to give up on that thrift store because I usually go in there and find other electronics like radios and stuff. And then I walked around there like maybe 3 times, somehow passed it up 3 times. And then something caught my eye, and I turned around, and I saw it, and I saw the price tag. It said $15, and I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, I have got to get this. And believe it or not, this is my first wall clock with Westminster chime, and I've always been a huge Westminster chime fan. I love the absolute crap out of it. And I could listen to Westminster chime as a song every single day for every single hour. Well, anyway, yeah. Beautiful clock. I love this one. Alright, moving on to above the TV on this shelf. I have this vintage rock clock, and it is a new movements. As you can see, this one is very off. So, we don't get to use this one much. Down here at the TV, we have this Dunlett Westclox electric clock. And then we have this General Electric alarm clock. Just 2 random clocks sitting here. Alright, right here we have this old Aileron 31-day wall clock. This one was gave to me as parts. So I just really haven't done anything to it. I just like the case of it, and because I always thought the case was very pretty. It does have a few issues, but other than that, I still think it's a very beautiful clock. This was gave to me as a gift. I like it. It's not too bad looking. Just hate that it's modern. Over here we have two more. This is another vintage little clock. It's not too old, but it's pretty freaking old. It's a miniature regulator wall clock. As you can see, that pendulum is going at it. Goodness. Pretty sweet. Yeah, pretty sweet clock. Going into the dining room, I have this Coca-Cola clock. Funny story behind this one. I got this clock back when I first started collecting clocks, and back when this clock was being made, you couldn't have bought them anywhere. Like, there was nowhere to buy them, which was very weird at the time. But I was like, but I really need this, because I used to work at my local fairgrounds, and they have different food booths and stuff, and all of the food booths except for our food booth that I worked at didn't have a Coca-Cola clock, and the Coca-Cola clock that they had was this one. And I'm like, oh my god, this is a pretty clock. Why do not we have one? And at the time, I was getting, I was good friends with the Coke guy that delivered our Cokes every other day. And I hit him up and I was like, hey, what could I do to get a Coca-Cola clock that you cannot buy? And he said, which one? And I said, I'm sure you've delivered clocks to the other booths. He said, yeah, that kind. And I said, exactly that kind. I love that kind, and I've always wanted one. And he said, okay. He said, let me see what I can do. And 2 days later, he came back, and he had it brand new in box for me with battery. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And ever since then, this thing has never moved. It's just always been one of the babiest Coca-Cola clocks ever. I love this clock so much. Alrighty, moving on. Over here we have this random quartz clock I found at the thrift store as well. Actually, I found it at the thrift store the same day I found that one. It's above the kitchen window. Not too bad looking. I kind of like it. Just a random clock, and I like the like metal cage around it, I guess you could say. Pretty sweet clock. Up here we have a huge ass, excuse the French there, metal clock. This was a 31-day wind up. It also did Westminster chime every 15 minutes of the hour. It was another broken spring ordeal, and I don't have anybody local that works on them. So, yeah, so it's just sitting up here for decoration. I still got to get a movement for this one. This also came from the lake house. This was a very beautiful clock. I got to get a movement for it. Till then, it's just going to hang here. So that's going to be about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video, because I sure did. I got a couple more clocks on the way. I'll make sure to make a video on them. But until then, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.